Hello, everyone. Good evening. Guys, if you can listen to me, please respond with a quick yes or no in the chat box. Hello. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Vidhi Kumari from Tech OctaNet Services Private Limited, and I'm your host for 4 days Python training session. Let us start with a quick introduction of Tech OctaNet. Tech OctaNet Services Private Limited is a budding startup headquartered in Bhubaneswar, specializing in IT solutions across diverse sectors, including e-commerce, real estate, automation, and personalized business applications. Our primary focus is to provide affordable services to startups, aiding them to. In addition to our core services, we are expanding into corporate training sectors, aiming to equip future corporate employees with a solid foundation. We also address student needs by identifying academic project requirements, internship opportunities, and offering comprehensive solutions. Our startup also operates with integrity and excellence at its core. We are proud to be incorporated as an organization with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, registered with MSME, and approved by AICTE for internship programs. Moreover, our commitment to quality is underscored by our ISO 9001 2021 certification. Every project we undertake adheres to the highest standards of excellence. That was all about OctaNet. So let us welcome our guest and instructor for today's Python session, Mr. Harsh Pranjal. He'll be conducting our sessions for 4 days. I hope you all have an amazing and interesting session today. So Harsh, you can take the stage now.
Okay, so I'm audible. Good evening, everyone. My name is Harsh Pranjal. I'm the lead of competitive programming domain in my college, Siviraman Bhubaneswar. Uh, by profession, I am a Django developer. Done some quite open source contributions till date. So I will be your session trainer for this 4 day Python program. Right. We are covering some few basic topics of Python and also covering some OOPS concepts in Python. So let's begin. Okay, these are the expected topics we are going to cover. These are some broad lines of the topics. Not every topics are mentioned here, right? First of all, why are we learning Python, right? So Python, uh, you can say that Python is a programming language which can do everything. Okay, it is a very basic, easy to learn programming language, and it literally can do everything except app development. Android development is not available in Python right now, but it can do everything from web development, full stack software development, and machine learning. Machine learning is one of the very popular field for Python, right? So it is also beginner friendly. See, when we start writing codes in Python now, you can understand that we are just writing some it is more like writing articles, something like that. Okay, so learning Python is very easy. If it is your okay, just tell me that how many have you ever learned any other programming language in past? Please name the language you have covered. Okay, Java, HTML, Ruby. Oh, Ruby, nice. JavaScript. See, DSC is not a language. Okay, Python, C++. Okay, okay. So C, something about C. C is very what we call basic language. It is also known as mother of all languages, right? It is a very old language, and C does not support OOPS concept, class and objects. We will see in our upcoming lectures what is class and objects and OOPS concepts. But Python, Java, and C++, these are object-oriented programming. They support object-oriented programming, right? See, if you have learned Java and C or C++, you can see that Python is very easy as compared to them. If you have covered Java earlier, then you can see that in Java we use many other types of supporting functions, right? With the different classes and with the different attributes and different data types, we use functions. Python is something like same. We use different type of functions here. C++ is something about core oriented. We write everything from scratch in C++. Yes, there is STL present in C++ to provide some predefined algorithms, but in Python there are many more. Okay, one more thing. Java and C++ are owned by some companies, right? They are not open source. They are distributed by some companies. For example, Java is the core distribution of Java is by Sun Microsystems, right? But Python is an open source programming language. It means that the the code for interpreter of the Python or every module or header file we are going to use in Python are available in GitHub. It is open to all. You can just go there and check its code. So that's why Python is one of the, what we say, the positive side of Python, that it is open source and everyone around the world can contribute in Python, right? That's why the developer base of Python is very big, and there are many supporting libraries available in Python. See, in Python, if you want to develop anything, like literally for matlab, in Python, if you want to develop anything or any code, you will already find a uh, predefined header, a predefined imported function for that. For everything in Python, for everything there is a predefined function available. Just you have to know how to use that function to apply your knowledge, right? So let's do a interpreter and IDE setup in your local system. And one more thing, please be ready please be ready with your notebook and pencils, right? Yeah. So interpreter and IDE setup, you guys have used Java and C++, right? So Java and so C++ is a compiled language. What happened in compiled language? We write a bunch of codes, different lines, and that will be compiled to provide the output, right? Compiled means everything in that page will be translated at once, not line by line. In interpreter, everything is compiled in line by line manner. We will see this in practical right now. Okay. So let's first do ID setup. So what is ID? If we have to implement Python or write Python code, we need some pages to write Python code, right? We cannot use, so we can use Notepad or Windows Word file, but Microsoft Word, but those are not very viable options. Let's see how to set up some IDs. Okay, guys. There are few multiple options for ID in Python, right? If you have pre-installed VS Code, then it's okay. If you have VS Code installed in your system, just download the interpreter for Python. Okay, the site for downloading the interpreter. Choose this 64-bit. I mean, choose the bit according to your system. Mine one is 64-bit. Just download the installer. So let me know one thing, that everyone, have you installed the Python interpreter in your system? Okay. See, having VS Code doesn't mean that you have Python, right? You have to install the interpreter. Okay. So you guys have interpreter installed. Let's see one another option. One another option we have is Google Colab. See, as I told you, Python can do much more than just software development. So Google Colab is a very important tool. As you, it come by name, it is developed by Google. So it is mostly used for machine learning purposes. Okay. So this is the interface of Google Colab. If you if you are not logged in, then it will prompt a login message. Just log in with your Gmail ID. So what happened in our system, since you have learned some of the previous programming languages, we install an interpreter or compiler in our system. Then we install some supporting libraries if we are using one. But in Google Colab, everything is available within the cloud, right? The interpreter is in the cloud. The supporting libraries are in the cloud. This tool is used to develop machine learning Python algorithms. Why? Because when we are implementing machine learning algorithms, right, in Python, it requires very large number of files and datas. For example, TensorFlow is a library developed by Google, which is used for machine learning algorithms. So TensorFlow can so if you are implementing a machine learning algorithm, it will nearly take nearly 2 to 3 hours only to compile the code, right? In Google Colab, if you are using the same code in your local system in your laptop and you are compiling that, it will probably take more than a day to compile. That's the power of Google Colab, right? It provides you some high-end hardwares in the cloud, right? And it is completely for free until unless you are going for the developer version. So let's start with Google Colab. We will shortly shift in VS Code. Other than Google Colab and VS Code, we have one more powerful option for an ID, that is PyCharm. See, when we are developing something, we need an integrated environment, and that environment includes various other programs other than just our Python code, right? If you are developing a software, you don't only write that print hello world. Okay, it includes much more functionalities. For that, we need an environment. So it is hard to manage those environment in VS Code. Google Colab may provide you those environments, but it is also hard to manage in cloud because of cloud integration, it is slow. Okay, PyCharm is one of the best option if you are into development in Python, right? It will provide you a very good environment. So, but one thing about Python, PyCharm, it is a very heavyweight software. Your system need to be modified for this one. And if you are developing some a software using PyCharm, then you may need to download some external libraries, right? Okay. So other than IDE setups, so let's dig into Python. First of all, as I said earlier, Python is a easy to learn language and it is very beginner friendly. So the first code in every language is hello world, right? So this is the print statement in Python. Okay. Uh, if you want to compile a code in Google Colab, just click this button or just press shift enter. See, as I told you, Google Colab is slow because it is cloud integrated. Just a single line of print statement took some time to compile. See, print. So what do you have about print? So print is a function, right? it is a function in Python, uh, not a function, a method in Python, which accepts a string, right? This hello world I have given here, it is a string value. Okay, string value is bunch of characters combined together. Okay, h is a character, it is combined with this whole, so it form a hello world, and it combines together to form a string. Okay, so print is a function which accepts a string value, and it prints that string value into your standard output. Standard output is something else, we can see that later. Just for now, the print statement print the given string into the screen. Okay, okay. So everyone is okay with the basic stuffs in Python, like list comprehension, dictionary, hashing. Yes, you can use Jupyter Notebook. Guys, just let me know if you are comfortable with basics of Python. Okay. Okay, just let me cover this basic stuff today, very quick. Then we can directly jump to file handling and then hooks. Okay. First, we have to learn file handling to create some good project in hooks. So see, for every language there is something we call comment. Comment is some lines. If we write print statement, it will it will interpreted by interpreter. Okay, compiled by the interpreter. But if you want something that we don't want to interpret, we will add comment for that. Hashtag is used to add comments in Python. Okay, suppose print function print is a method in Python, right? So this line won't get interpreted because it is a comment line, and interpreter always ignore comments. Okay, okay. Let's see. There is something known as string formatting in Python. Okay, we'll see it shortly. So someone is asking about Jupyter notebook. See, just open your command prompt. Okay, type check the version of Python. This command is used to check the version of Python you have installed. Okay. This will give the version of Python you have installed. Please make sure that you have a, version upgraded than 3.6. Okay, so okay, for using other than Google Colab, if you want to do some simple calculations, right, like a calculator in Python, you can use command prompt also to write Python codes. The difference is that whatever you write in a command prompt won't get saved anywhere in your system. Okay, if you write Python here, it will start the Python interpreter. See, it will start the Python interpreter, but it won't get saved anywhere in your system. Once you close the command prompt, it will be gone. Okay. Using for real-time examples. See, we will say about the real-time examples of Python programming. Suppose, uh, exit. exit command to exit the Python interpreter. There is something known as pip in Python. Okay, so installing if you are using Java or C++, you always search for some libraries in Google. You download those libraries and use those libraries in your project, right? So that is a hefty work. Python can handle it easily. Pip is something in Python which is known as this is a Python library manager. Okay, if you want to install anything, any library of Python, you can just use pip. Okay, pip install is the command. Suppose I want to install the math library of the Python, then pip installed. Okay, one of the basic libraries. Suppose I want to install the Django library of Python. Django is a web framework for Python, which is used to develop backend of a web page, a website. Okay, so this is the syntax: pip install, then the name of the package, and it will install the package for you in your system in a particular location. Okay, there is no need to just okay, it's installing. So there is no need to just move your package from here there. Okay, yeah, I have already installed pandas in my system. That's why I don't do that. Yeah, yeah, we will jump to bit for that. Yeah, so pip install package name is for installing your package. Okay, and pip install update. This update one is to update your particular package, right? There is no need to uninstall the current package and then install the upgraded one. You just use pip install upgrade command to sorry update command to update your current package. Okay, so there is something known as Jupyter Lab. Okay, so you can use pip install Jupyter Lab. Wait. Okay. Jupyter Lab command. Okay, so Jupyter Lab is installed in my system. I forgot about that. So someone is asking about Jupyter Notebook. Mm, This is a Jupyter Notebook which runs in your local host in your system. Okay. Uh, these files you are seeing, these are in my system and in C drive. Okay. So one thing about Jupyter Notebook, work with caution because everything you save in Jupyter Notebook will be saved in your C drive, which will be not so great. Yeah, I need to upgrade my pip. See, I always use some virtual environment to create my projects. That's why I didn't upgrade my pip till now. So Jupyter works as same like Google Colab, but if you are using it is if you are using this for development, you also have to install the related libraries with you. Okay, you have to install the related libraries in your system, right? So I think everyone is clear about the IDE and development environment. So let's jump to variables. Okay, guys, I have created a folder. I will suggest that you may also create a folder for development. Let's call it variables. Okay, this is the interface of VS Code. I think everybody is familiar with VS Code, right? Okay, so let's see. See, every programming language have a skeleton, basic skeleton. For example, if we write, see, mm, this one is the basic skeleton for C++ programming language. You have to write this much things to just print one line in your screen, that is hello world. See, to print this just one line hello world, you have to write all these things in C++. Okay, and every line have their own meaning. Okay, there is something similar with Java. You have to write some predefined structure, but in Python it is very simple. Just write print hello world. We have seen this in Google Colab. Okay, and it will print. Oh, one more thing. If you want to compile your file in local environment, just open your command prompt. Okay, just write Python, your file name, and just press enter, and it will compile and show the output. Okay, if you want to save your output in some file, okay, just write the command, and it will create a file with your output in it. See this greater than symbol. This is used to redirect the output of this command into this page. Okay, okay. Let's see next. So variables, right? So in Python is a dynamically typed language. Okay, Python is a dynamic language. By dynamic, I mean that in any language, for example, in C++, if you want to define a variable, you have to write the first the data type of the variable, then the name of the variable. This one is the name of the variable, and this is the data type for the variable. Okay, variable is something which stores data for you in your program. Okay, suppose I say give 10 to this, then the value of a is 10. Whenever I use a in the whole program, it will represent 10. A holds a value 10 for me in this code. Okay, that is a variable. But in Python, we generally don't define the data type of a variable. A variable, this is the same as compared to C++ or Java. This is how we create a variable in Python, right? So we don't define any data type with the data type of a, what type of data a can store. So in Python, a can store anything, an object, and string, a float value, a double value. A can store anything, a list, tuple, there are something else. So let's see how to print these variables on the screen. We again use the print statement with just the variable name. Okay, see, hello world is printed by this first line, and this print a statement, this prints the value of variable a. Okay, so if you want to know the type of a variable, there is a function in Python known as type. Okay, so type tells the type of the current variable that you have passed. To print this type in the screen, again we use print statement. See, a now holds a int, it is a int type. Okay, so see, what is the meaning of dynamic language? Suppose Now A is a type of string. Okay, if I again use this, see what happened. First A is an int type. See, first A is of type int. That's why it prints int. Second, we have given a new value to A, and now A is converted from int to string. That's why now it is printing class string. Now A is type of string type variable. Okay, so this is how variable are dynamic in nature in Python. A variable can be we just have to declare the name of the variable, and it can be of any type. Whatever we give it, it takes its type. Like 4.56, it will be a floating points. Okay, see, it is a float. Okay, uh, so suppose, see what I mean by commenting a code, that interpreter ignores this code. Okay, if now I compile and sorry, I interpret this code to produce our output, it will give type string and type float. These lines will be ignored by the interpreter. Okay, but if now I will do this, see, we get a value 10 and a type int. So writing comment is a very good practice. So write comment to add the meaning of the meaning of the code line you have just written. It will help you to understand in future, like variables are dynamic in Python, something like that. Okay, so let's see more on variable. See, using these types of variables now with a dynamic nature is not that good practice with Python. Okay, if you are using, if you are suppose if you are developing something in Python, you have to follow some rules. So one of the rule is that if you are using creating a variable, suppose I am creating a variable, int type variable. Okay, suppose the value is 100. Okay, so if you are creating a variable in Python, it is a good practice to just declare its type. Okay, this is how we declare the type of the variable in Python: a colon, then the type of the variable. Okay, there are multiple types in variable. Okay, take a look here. Booleans in Python. Uh, the spelling of true always start with capital T. In C++ and Java, we use small t, or for false we use small f. Okay, so there are some floating points, 5.68. Uh, there are some strings, and one more thing we have seen. Suppose in C++ or in Java, there are something called characters, some char variables. Okay, characters are those variables which store a single letter. Okay, a single character, that is a char variable. Okay, but in Java, sorry, but in Python, there is no character variable. Okay, everything you write in codes are string in Python. Okay, suppose I declare my string, uh, the second line. See, this single variable is also of type string, and this single variable is also of type string. If I don't specify this, also it is of type string. Let's check this one. See, both are of type string. Okay, so there are no character variables in character variables in Python. If you want to use character, you just specify the indexing. We will see what is indexing in Python. So, and one more thing, these are two different types how we can declare a string. There is one more type using triple quotes. See, see, if by using single quotes or double quotes, if I want to enter multi-line strings now, then it will give me error. Okay, single and double quotes doesn't support multi-line strings, but if you want to enter multi-line strings, then you can use triple quotes in Python. Okay, suppose we have line 1, and then we have line 2. So I will print this string 3. See, this one is a multi-line string. Okay, I have provided some tabs here. That's why here in output there are also some tabs. Okay, also there are some more variables in Python like list, dictionary. We will see them in coming sessions. One more very known thing in Python about declaring variables is that if you don't know the value of the variable you are declaring right now, okay, if you don't know, suppose I declare an int of type int and I don't know the current value of the variable now, then I can give it a none. None is something similar to null, but none and null are two different things. Okay, in C++ and Java there is something called null or null pointer, but in Python none can perform same things like null. None is an empty space. Okay, but it is more powerful than null. We can also see why none is different from null. So my int of type int, okay, by type int, it doesn't mean that my int2 variable is always bounded to have integer values. We can put any string values in it and it's still valid. See, it prints string value, but we have declared it with hint. Just this declaration is only to provide follow a basic guideline of Python development. That's it. Okay. So we have seen none, the different variable types in Python. So anyone having any doubt till now? Okay. Let's see string formatting method. See, suppose we have declared a variable. Okay, just give some meaningful name. Okay, so if I want to print this variable, I can use print my int and it will print the variable. The output of this line will be 10. Okay, suppose you want to print that the value of, suppose you want to print with us some message. Okay, so we can do two things. Print the value of variable is, so this line will print the string you have given here. This string will be printed on the screen and this line will print the value. Okay, so it is a property of print statement that by default if it prints a value it will then change its line. Okay, so see here when it prints the string now it will change its line to the second line. Okay, the next print statement will be executed on the second line. It is by default behavior of print statement. Okay, if you want to print statement and move to next line, so I will say that note this point. This is a important point. We are going to use it again and again. If you want to end the value, suppose I written the value of var is, suppose I want to write, suppose I want to print this value just after printing this string. I don't want to change the line. Okay, then there is one argument we pass with this print method. Okay, now what is argument and parameters we see once we encounter the methods in Python. But first let's see how we can do this. In end, we define how the line ends. Okay, suppose in this double quotes, if you press provide space, let's see what happens right now. See, in this, okay, in this print statement, we didn't provide any end with function. Okay, end with argument. So the sorry, the default behavior of this print statement is that it will change the line and print the variable on the next line. Okay, the next print statement will be executed on the next line. But if we added the end statement with it, end argument with the print, then uh, okay, that, where is this one? Okay, see, if we define an end with a space here now, see, if when this string is printed, there is no extra space after this colon. Okay, but the string print, the printing of the string ends with a space after that string. So we are basically defining how the printing statement should end after printing the string. Okay, so this is very helpful in formatting some output. See, this output doesn't look that informative, but this one is good. Okay, there are some other end options, like you can provide anything inside end. For example, you can provide commas. See, it ended with comma, so you can basically give anything inside end, which will provide some meaning to your output. Okay, output. Okay, suppose we have one more option to format a string in Python, and so this option is only available after the Python 3.6 version. So make sure that you have installed Python 3.6 and higher versions. This method is introduced in Python 3.6 and higher. Okay, so suppose we are using Python. Oh, sorry, we are using print. Uh, the value of my end is, and I want to print the value just right here without using any another or second print statement. Okay, then how can we do this? So there are multiple options to do this. First is formatting string. This small f in front of a string, it tells the print method that the provided string is formatted with certain values. Okay, if I will use curly braces with the variable name c. Okay, so print for change line, the print, and we have formatting. Okay, let's Just using F. No, my int is not defined. Okay. See, uh, after this, see this output. Without using the second print statement, with using just this F letter for formatting, we have uh, printed the value of the int, my variable. Okay, so there are some other modifiers also for R. R is always used for a raw string. Okay, there are multiple symbols we can if you want we can use inside a string. Okay, if needed. But if you use F, or if you we print it without using F, there are maybe some chances that these strings will be ignored. Okay, but using R tells the print method that the given string is always printed as it is. It is a raw string, doesn't need any formatting on that. See, everything is printed as it is, nothing is changed. For example, let's see the difference. Suppose, suppose in this given string, if I give a uh, if I give a slash, and in this string, if I provide formatting with some forward slash, and also in this using raw, if I have provided some forward slash. So guys, can anyone tell the outputs of these in the comment? Just these three lines. Okay, so let's execute this. See, I am using these multiple prints to change the line, but it is not a good way to change the line. We can always use end with multiple slashes, so multiple ends, so it can provide us some space after each output. See, slash R is something we called as escape characters in every language. Okay, slash R, slash N, and slash A. These are okay. These have some special meanings. Okay, in every language, they are known as escape sequences or escape characters. Okay, so slash R means that the string starting before slash R will be deleted, and the string that is present after slash R, that is only the valid string. Okay, this HA will be overridden by writing S and H. These will not be printed. Yeah, slash N for next line, and slash A for a bell ring. Slash T is for tab, and slash V is for vertical tab. You will see all those. Yeah, slash A for alarm. So these slash R, see, we are using string formatting, then also slash R is activated, but I don't want to use the property of this slash R, this escape sequence. I want to print the string as it is. So we use raw string. Raw string can ignore any special character we are using inside string, and it prints the string as it is on this tree. Okay, so this is how we format strings. Now let's see some flow controls. So there are if, else if, else in Python. Okay, suppose I have a with value 10. See, uh, in every language there is something called conditional flow controls. Flow controls are used to flow controls are used to print check some conditions. If you have provided, for example, I want to print a only when the value of a is always greater than 0. Okay, so I will say that if a is greater than 0. See, this is the syntax for writing if conditions is Python. Always ends with a colon. Okay, print value of a is, we write a here. See, okay, see, this will print the value of a. This if condition is true. Why? Because the value of a is 10 and 10 is greater than 0. So it will produce a value true. And if function always operates if the value is true, then it will use the if body. If the value is false, then it will use the else body. Value of a is negative or 0. Okay. Say now it is given 10, that's why always true. But suppose if you give 1, see, it is executing the else statement. Okay, so this is how if else operates. There is one else if. So if we are using elif with a condition, if is double equal to 0, print value of is a. Okay, let's take okay let's take some user inputs in Python. Every language have their own syntax for user inputs, like C in C++ or scanner class in Java. So in Python, we use input function to take input from user in Python. Okay, for example, like enter your number. So this will be your syntax. See, the compilation stops here. It is asking for a number. So if I enter 12, see, now I have entered 12, but here we got an error that greater than symbol is not supported for type string. Let's see what is here going on. Suppose we have print statement with type A. This is a good demonstration of what is an interpreted language and what is a compiled language. See, it is asking for a number. See, this line is executed here, but the lines after this will not be executed because there are some errors. In compiled language, if there are any error in any line, then the compilation will stop and not even a single line will be executed. But it interpreted, yeah, we are using it. So if in interpreted language, every single line will be executed just before the error. If after the error, if there are present any, like this is a valid code, but this line won't be executed. Let's see the example. See, there this string is not printed on the screen. Why? Because after when the interpreter encounters any error, it will just stop then and there. Okay, no interpretation will be going to happen after that. Okay, so okay, so why it is happening? Suppose we enter 12, it shows that type A is a type of string. See, it shows that type of A is string. This is because whenever we enter anything from user side to any Python variable, it will be always taken as a string. We have to convert it into the type of variable we need. Okay, so for type conversion, the basic syntax is always data type, and that inside brackets here we give the variable or the input whatever is needed. Okay, so I need to be converted to int data type. Now it will run smoothly. See, everything will run. Okay, why? Because now this given 12, we have give this 12 as a string input in Python. Okay, but it will be converted as an int input. Okay, this is a type conversion, and it is a static type conversion. We will see what will be a dynamic type conversion in Python. So it statically uh, convert this string into an integer of value 12, and then these values will be run again. Let's see. I think there is a name of file flow control. Okay. Flow controls. If I press 0, see, first this if condition is executed, we got the value false because the value of a is 0. A is greater than 0, here we got false. Okay, then this else if condition is executed. So here we get a is double equal to 0, which is true. Then it is printed values of a is 0, and then the last code line is printed because if else condition always prints only one block of if else condition is always executed. Okay, suppose I enter -3, then this last block will be executed because we have a negative number, and first this condition will be checked. A is greater than 0, which is a false. A is double equal to 0 will be checked, which is also a false. And then a negative, then this else statement will be executed. We have multiple elif statement as per requirement. See, first this statement will be checked. If this is false, then this will be checked. If this is false, then this will be checked. This is how else if works. Okay, and we are providing this space in front of every line because this is how syntax work in Python data. So in every language, for example, suppose in C++, we use these curly braces to define a code block. Okay, suppose if we want to use if else condition in C++, then we use these curly braces to define the area of this if condition. Okay, but in Python, there are no curly braces will be used. There is only this colon and this four spaces. It will be always a four space. Okay, this one space is also work, but it is not a standard, so we always use four spaces or a tab to provide these indentations. Python always works on indentation. See, this is one of the major reason why Python is single Python file is not used to write a bulk of codes because indentation is a major issue if there will be multiple lines of codes. So we have seen the flow controls. This is how if else work. And there is one thing more, that there is something in C++ and Java, that is switch condition. Okay, we say that as switch case. Okay, that switch case is not present in Python. We implement it using some dictionaries or list as required, but switch case is not present in Python. Okay, let's see list. So we have seen integer and multiple types of variables. Okay, let me just know that any problem till now, anyone? See, there is some data structures known as array. Okay, so if you are using some another languages like C++ or Java, so creating a array, this is how we create a array. Okay, it is a, it this digit gives the size of the array, this gives the type of the array, integer type, and this is a variable name for array. So Python is dynamically typed. This is okay. We'll cover in this is a, so there is some variable known as list data type in Python. Okay, suppose I need an array type array. So this is how we declare a list. Okay, this is an empty list. This is also an empty list. This also declares an empty list. Okay, these both are type list and both are empty list. Okay, for example, if we have type list, sorry, list. See, both are of type list and both are empty. If we print, see, both are empty list. Okay, so what happened in array? There is one major drawback in array, which is uh, well addressed in Python. That is, array can store only a single data type, only data of single data type. Okay, as we have seen in C++, that we first define the data type of the array, means that this array will only store the data of type integer. Okay, but in Python, a list can store multiple data types at a time, can store multiple data of multiple data types. Can store data of multiple data types. Okay, for example, suppose I want to declare my list with some values 1, 2, 3. Say 1, 2, 3 are integers. It is an string, again one string, and then suppose we take a float. Okay, see, this this list contains a type of of data of multiple types. There is a string, there is a floating point, and there is a integer. Okay, so let's see how list works. So in traditional data types, suppose if I am putting an int with value 100, so at a point of time, at an instance of code, a can have only one variable, or only one value assigned to it, that is either 100, or if you overwrite with suppose 80, if you overwrite a with suppose any string. So at this point of time, the value of a is 100. At this point of time, the value of a is 80. The 100 is gone. At this point of time, the value of a is hers. 180 is gone. But my list can hold multiple types of value and multiple values of multiple types. Okay, so this is one of the advantage of list, that we can store multiple values inside a single variable. So Suppose we want to, suppose there is something b value 200 and we want to add them, print f some and b is c, suppose. So what happened that this will print a value of 300. Oh, so this will print a value of 300. So how we are doing this? We are accessing the value of variable a and we are accessing the value of variable b. But in my list, there are multiple variables are present. So how can we access a single value inside a list? So accessing a single value is with the help of index. Okay, we use index to access a single value or particular data in a list variable or in a array. Okay, you can consider list as an array of multiple data types. Suppose accessing list elements. Suppose I want to just get this two. I don't want all these element. I just want these two. The value two. Okay. So I will print my list. Yeah, my list with index one. See, see, I got two. Here the value is one. Okay. So this these square brackets are used to define a single index. A index which we need. We want to access. Okay. So this single index we need. Okay, so indexing in Python or any language always start with, matlab in multiple languages always start with value zero. Okay, so these are the index of these datas. Suppose I want to access Python. See, so if you want to access any single value in a list, you just use their index. Okay, the simple syntax is that variable name, sorry, the list variable name, then square brackets and then index. I think it's in YouTube, so the video will be available later also. Okay, so we have multiple index here. So working with a list in Python is very easy, as in multiple languages we use array to store very large data sets. Okay, uh, which software gives? I didn't get your question. This is a VS Code editor. So Uh, um, okay, so list is in so think like this. You are developing a, suppose developing a script where you need to store array of 1,000 objects. Suppose, okay, suppose we have an array of 1,000 objects. List of 1,000 objects. If I want to access this last index, then it will be always the last index will be 9 and 9. Okay, because the indexing always starts with 0 and ends with n minus 1. N is the size of the array. Okay, the last index is always n minus 1. Okay, all indexing always start with 0. Indexing always start with 0. Ends at n minus 1. Now let's see what happens when we want to access some element which are not in list. For example, my list. See, the last index is 5. Okay, Suppose I want to access the element at index 6. Okay, index 6 does not exist in my list, so it will throw an error. And let's see what those errors are. See, uh, okay, so it will throw a error in name index error and list index out of range. The maximum index number which we can access inside this particular list, my list, is index 5. If we give any index after index 5, then it will give an index error. This is also known as index out of bound. Okay, out of bound error. Index out of bound error. Okay, accessing any index outside the reach of the list is not it gives an error, index error. Okay, there is one particular advantage of using any list or arrays in Python, that we can give we can give the reverse order indexing is also available in Python. For example, the index of 1 is 0, the index of 2 is 1, right? The index of 8.9 is minus 1. The index of Python is minus 2. It is minus 3. It will be minus 4. It will be minus 5. It will be minus 6. Okay. Suppose we want to print the last element, so we have two options. Okay, my list, then the index 5, and my list with index minus 1, 8.9, the last element of the list. So what is the advantage of using minus 1? If we have always the my indexing 5 is always available there. So in this list, in this particular list, we know the last index of the list, right? But this is not the case for, case for every time. We may have provided with a list which we don't know the last indexing. To access the last index of any list, we can use minus 1. Okay, the the list of unknown size, we can use minus 1 there. Then we can use, okay, so then we can print the last value using minus 1. So suppose we want to print the second last value, then we will use my list minus 2, and we have the second last element. Okay, the second last element in the list. Now let's say list slicing. So uh, in Python, as already told you, that in Python everything is predefined. We don't need to write everything from scratch. In another languages, if we want to take a part, suppose, let's declare that list again. This will be okay. One more thing. I have used this variable mylist here. It created an empty list. That variable is again used here. It is not a, my list is not a new variable. Okay, only this variable is used again and again. Here also, this my list is used and it is override. First the value was empty, then this value was this, and now the value was overwritten with this list. Okay, so slicing list in Python. So suppose I want only these these many elements. Okay, so the first option we have, by accessing list one. See, this is how we can access these three elements. So suppose you have a list of size 1000 and you need to access the elements from index 0 to sorry from okay, suppose index 0 to 7 or from index 34 to 136. Suppose these many elements you want from these around these indexes. So how can we do that? First option we have loops. Okay, loops in Python. We can use loops in Python. And second option we have slicing. Suppose I want a sublist. I want to create a sublist which take the elements, these three elements from my list element. Okay, so we can do this by my list. See, if guys, let me tell you some predefined functions, then we can jump to list slicing. Okay, so as we can as we can we So as we have seen that multiple values we can store in list of multiple data types. There are some predefined functions which operates on list. Okay, these are some predefined functions which operates on list, and these predefined functions are already available in Python, right? So let's see what are those. We can do slicing later. Suppose I have a list of type list and I have an empty list. Okay, I want to add in value in this list. I want to create this list with an element one. Okay, so to add this element, we use my list dot append and print list. See, this append is always used to insert element in list. So append is used to insert elements in list at last index. Suppose if I run this append again and if I enter 100 this time, now this 100 is we got a list of 1 and 100. See, this 100 is inserted at the last index of the list. Okay, so append is always used to insert elements at list at last index. Okay, uh, there is one more function. So after append, okay, let me close all these. Control Z. Okay, so here. So we have insert. You can see insert right now. Pop clear index sort. Let's go with pop. So if you have learned about data structures, then you know a basic data structure known as stack. Stack has the function pop. Okay, the basic meaning is pop is deleting the last element. Okay, suppose if I do my list dot pop and if I print my list, yeah, push pop top, yeah. So 100 is deleted from my list because we have used the pop function, and the property of pop is that is always delete the last element. Okay, okay. uh, let's see about copy. See, if I have an variable with value 10 and we'll do this. So in other languages, what does this mean? That we have a copy of b, we get the value of a, right? In other languages, this is how it would be, that the value of b will be 10. Okay, but in Python what happens? Let's see. Print a, print b. See, the value of a is 10, the value of b is 10. Okay, now let's suppose we have changed the value of from a to 200, and then again print this. Can anyone please predict the output of these two lines? What will be the output? Yeah, that's the correct answer, but it's not happening here. Abhi, see, yeah, A will be 200 and B will be 10, but why? See, this is not what happens in Python. Okay, suppose if I delete this one and we have updated the value of A with B, then the value of B is 10 and the value of A is 200, because we have updated the value of A. Okay, let's see what happened with this list. Sorry, my list 1, 2, 3. This one is going to my list. Into list. Okay, guys, see, same thing. What happened with A and B? Okay, same thing. What happened with A and B? A, the values of A will be copied to B. Let's see what happened now. If we have performed an operation of pop on my list one, see, when we have assigned A with some other value, then also the value of A, then also the value of A was updated with 200, but the value of B was not updated. It remains 10. Okay, but right now we have updated the value of my list. Okay, we performed the pop operation on my list, deleted the last element of my list. Okay, deleted last element of my list. Okay, but this deletion is also reflected on my list one, the new variable we have assigned here. See, my the when we, okay, let's do this. Print from pop on list. Okay, let's see. See, we perform pop on my list, but why the value of my list one is also updated? It is not going to happen. Okay, why this? Guys, if you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. See, what happened in Python when we perform these type of assignments, when we perform assignment using equal sign, okay, equal to operators, then what happened? See, we have a variable my list, and this variable my list 1 and my list. So the value of my list is not copied to my list 1. Okay, the my list itself is copied to my list 1. What happens whenever we create a variable in Python, it acquires a memory, and that memory have an address. Let me show. See, this is the address of A. It's not really the address, it is an ID known as Python. But if you have used other languages, it is always referred as address. Okay, so it is a ID. See, if you have created a equal to 10, somewhere in your system memory, there is a variable is created. Okay, somewhere in your system memory, there is a variable is created, and 10 is assigned to that variable. Okay, so the place in the memory where this variable is created, that place have an ID, unique ID. Okay, so using this ID function, we always print the ID of that function, that variable. Okay, so ID of A and B is same because we are using equal to operator. Okay, so what happen in equal to operator, it doesn't copy the value, it copies the ID. Okay, so if we print ID of my list, and we can print ID of my list one, let's comment this. See, the ID of these two variable is same. The ID of these two variable are same. My list one and my list is same. What does it mean? It means that there is one single memory location, and the name of that memory location is my list and my list one. My list one is not a separate variable. It is just an another name for my list. Okay. So whatever operation we are going to perform on my list, okay, whatever updates are going to perform on my list, same will be reflected to my list one, because my list one is not an another variable. It holds the ID, this same value assigned for my list one. This same memory, my list one have the access to same memory location where this 1 2 and 3 are saved. Okay, so this is why when we perform pop operation on my list, the value of my list one is also deleted. See, what happened when we perform this pop operation, it deletes the value from this list. Okay, deleting the value from this list. Now what happened, this list is assigned in the memory. Okay, so currently suppose memory has the value of 1 2 and 3, and suppose we print my list. See, we are printing my list. It prints 1 2 3. Why? Because my list is accessing a memory in Python where this 1 2 3 is saved. Okay, somewhere in your memory this 1 2 3 should be saved because it is a variable. My list is a variable. It accesses a memory location where 1 2 3 is saved. Okay, now we are performing my list.pop. What this do? It's delete the value 3 from the memory. The last value is saved 3. So, anyone have any question? Okay. So, it deletes the last element from the memory. Okay. Now, my list is accessing this memory unit, and my list one is also accessing this memory unit. That's why when we print my list also prints 1 2, and my list one is also printing 1 and 2. This is what really happens when you use equal to operator. Okay, suppose now, suppose you want a copy, you don't want to access the same memory, because there is no real meaning of accessing same memory twice. Okay, so if you want to copy, we use this copy function with list. Okay, this copy function is used to copy the values of my list into my list one and creating a new memory location. Now there are two memory locations. First memory is for 123, which is accessed by my list, and there is one more memory location which will be 123 and which will be accessed by my list one. Okay, now these two are two different variables, they are not connected to each other. Okay, for example, suppose if I perform pop operation, print new list, and then print, so this one. See, after performing pop operation on my list, the value of my list is different and my list one is different. Why? Because these this time my list and my list one are accessing two different memories. Okay, suppose this is memory one, memory two. Now what happened? After performing the pop operation, the memory one, three from memory one is deleted, but my list is accessing memory two, so that's why it's printing 123. Okay, so overall the thing is that when you want to copy something into some another variable, use dot copy. Don't use just assignment operator. Assignment operator is not going to copy your elements, it is going to copy your id. It just create two names for the same memory address. Okay, but copy, it copies value from one variable to another variable. Okay, now let's see how some different number copy we have. Suppose my list values 1 3 nested lists, 300 minus 0.3. So can anyone predict the output of this line? Just this line. Okay, so see, yeah, that is correct. Suppose indexing for 1 is 0, 2 is 1, 3 is 2. This whole block, this nested list, this get the index of 3. Okay, when we execute this code, okay, sublisted, nested list, those are two different things. See, this whole block got the index 3. Okay, when we are accessing index 3, we are printing this list. Okay, this is known as sublist and this whole is known as nested list. So this list will be printed and it is known as nested list. So there are some consequences of using copy or any other function we have seen earlier with this nested list. Okay, So what is happening here? Let me tell you this. This will be going to be an in-depth explanation. So if you don't want to follow this, you can stick to your. Say suppose we have these 1 2 3. Okay, so these 1 2 3 are saved somewhere in the memory. Okay, suppose there is some memory has, and we have a value of saved here 100, 100 and 300. So what happened for this list is not saved, means this list is not inserted in my list. The memory hash of this list is inserted. For example, this list contain these one. Okay, if we use the index 3, the index 3 is calling this memory location, and this memory location holds the another list. Okay, let me create a nested list. Let's create nested list. So see, don't Python uses some middleware, okay, which is generally known as a butler for accessing memory locations. Python don't handle its own memory itself. Okay, there is some middleware in between Python and your RAM, or the memory where you are saving your these values. Okay, and that middleware is responsible for accessing these memory locations. Okay, Python don't handle this memory location by itself. Okay, so suppose this is the list we have, nested list. Okay, so this, what about this my list? My list contains element 1 2 3, and the memory location of this list, it itself doesn't contain the list on a whole. Okay, so what does it mean? Let me show you. Suppose I have my list 1. Okay, and we copy my list dot copy, perform this copy. Okay, let's print my list, my list. See, everything works fine. If you we suppose append something in my list, suppose -3. Okay, so if you append something in my list, then my list 1 is not getting affected because we have used copy here. Okay, see, my list 1 is not affected. We have a new element in my list, but my list 1 is as it is. Okay, now let me, okay, just tell me the output of this one. My list 1, sorry, my list 3 0 is equal to, suppose we take -100. Can just tell me the output of these two lines. Okay, so let's execute the lines. My list is not open. See, value of my list and value of my list 1 both are updated. But why we are using the copy function? But again, if we update the value of my list, value of my list 1 is also updated. And why this is happening? So the answer lies in here. See, when you we use this copy does a thing. Suppose the value of my list. What copy does? It copies each and everything from my list and put it inside my list 1. Okay, so my list have a value of 1, value 2, value 3, and it has a memory location for a new list. This is how nested list work. Okay, this is how copy work. Okay, so memory, my list 1 has its own 1, its own 2, its own 3. Okay, but this memory has stores this nested list is shared by both my list 1 and it's shared by both my list, sorry, it's shared by both my list and my list 1. So whatever change we do in this in this memory has, the same change will be reflected in my list and the same change will be reflected in my list 1. See, what does this mean? Okay, this means that we are accessing the index 3 of my list. Okay, so what is the index 3 of my list? Index 3 of my list is 100, 200, and 300. Next, next we have 3, and after that we have 0. It means we are accessing the index 0 of 3. Index 3 give us this list, and this list also holds some index, right? The index of 100 is 0 in itself, the index of 200 is 1, index of 300 is 2. So the index 0 gives us the value 100. Okay, guys, just let me know if anyone have any problem till now about this, all this memory concept. Just about this memory concept, nested list we can see further sessions, but if anyone have any problem in this memory concept. Yeah, whatever, what we use copy function on whatever variables. Copy function just take the value of that variable and gives it to the value of the new variable we are creating. This one is exactly copied here, this 2 is copied here, this 3 is copied here, this memory has is exactly copied here. We have seen, right, what is the memory has, we use that id. Suppose if I print the id of this, so if we see the id of my list 3, my list is a some another list. Okay, my list 3 is some another list, the id of that list is this given here. Okay, this is basically a memory has used by Python. See, the same thing will be printed, the same memory has will be given for my list 1. See, the same memory has will be given for my list 1. Okay, so this is what copy does. Copy each, it takes each variable, each value, and just copy it to the new variable. Okay, okay, so see, so everyone is comfortable with that memory concept. Okay, so let's see how to access the values of this nested list. As we have seen that this nested list has an index of 3. Okay, now we know that list has index starting from 0. So this particular this particular list also has an index starting with 0. That means that the index of 100 is 0, the index of 200 is 1, the index of 300 is 2. Okay, so when we use 3 and 0, it means we are accessing this whole block, and then we are accessing this 100. See, this is what a drawback of Python, I would say, that in a single memory, in other languages, we can predict or define that a single memory location can holds the which amount, what amount of data. For example, in C++, we can define the type of an integer, sorry, type of a variable, that is int. Int can hold a value of 4 byte or 8 bytes, but in Python it is dynamically typed. Okay, so my list is holding these many values. If I type here my list is equal to 10, now my list is holding only an integer, so it is very hard to tell that my list holds how much memory bytes to store its data. That's why there is a middleware between the Python and your memory location to handle the memory requirement. And the size of memory is always divided into small bits. One bit can store a value of one bit, that is 0 or 1. Okay, any more question? Okay, so this is how we access the nested list, the elements of nested list. When we use 3 with 0, we are accessing 100. When we use, suppose, 3 with index 2, we are accessing 300. Okay, we are accessing 300. See, we are accessing 300. Now the value of 300 is updated to minus 300. Okay, so okay, so so the basic problem of copy is that it copies the memory hash of the nested list. So we cannot use copy when we are dealing with nested lists. And one more thing, as you can see that the idea of the last, when the last time we run the program is different from this time. It happens every time. If I run the program again, then we get new ID, because every time we run a program, the interpreter provides new memory location to the variables. Old variable will get destroyed and new variable will be created. Okay, so how to deal with this? So this copy function is normally known as shallow copy. Okay, and we have something that is known as deep copy. Okay. There is no need to use deep copy whenever you are dealing with list, normal list. But when you are dealing with nested list, then we can use deep copy. So just we have deep copy with my list dot. Wait. Before deep copy, we have something. See, suppose uh, let me strings with nested list. Suppose I have a string and I have a list. Let me create a new file for this. So I have a string with string that is, and I have my list, which is of type list. And, and okay, see, last time I have used an empty list created an empty list using square brackets and using the list class. Okay, now we will create it using none. So let's see my desktop. Can anyone predict the output of this code? What will be the output of this code? Append function. Again, append function is used to insert element at the end of list. Let's see. So the output we get an error here. Anyone any idea why error? See, Python lists can grow dynamically as elements are, so they are not limited by fixed size like arrays from the programming languages. By the variable. See, in some another programming languages, there is some data structure known as vectors. If you use a dynamically growing array, you can use vectors in another programming languages. See, okay. So uh, I think I've told you that whenever we are using, suppose I have uh, created my int with type int and provided value 100. Okay, when we print my int, okay, type, it will just let me know what will be the output of just this line number 14. What will be the output of this line? Okay, class int, right? Okay, now int is equal to, what will the output of this line number 16? So we have class int, and here we will get class str. Okay, so I have told you that Python is a dynamically typed language. Every variable is dynamic in nature in Python. So we can change the type of the variable in code. Okay. So here we have created a variable named my list. Okay. And my list is of type class list. Okay. Is of type class list. But we have provided a value of none now. We have provided the value of none. So what will be the type of my list? The type of my list is class none type, and class none type don't have a function append. Okay, see attribute error. None type objects has no attribute append. Append attribute means append method is not available for none type variables. Okay, see I have created this with a name list. If I will give it 100, Then let me know what will be the output of this line number 3. Okay, so the line number 3 will print class int. See, class int, because the value we have provided is of type int. Okay, this statement, the declaration of the type of variable, is only there to provide a better documentation or provide better maintenance, so the code will be more readable in nature. Okay, this doesn't bound this variable to hold only list type. This variable can hold any type of data. Okay, the type of a variable is always determined by the type of the value which it is storing. Okay, for example, if I have provided none, the class type will be none. And append only exists for class type list. Append is a function of list. Okay, none modes. Okay, suppose uh, see, let me know what will be the output of this line number 2. Output of this line number 2. Okay, yeah, it will be blank, that is empty string. See, it is printed but it's an empty string. Okay, so they suppose we have a memory location which holds an empty string. Okay, it doesn't hold anything, but no, it doesn't produce error. Okay, so we have a memory location which holds a string, but that string is empty. Okay, so the thing is here that empty string is assigned a memory location. Empty string is assigned a memory location, but if we use, see, if we use non-string doesn't holds any memory location. No memory location will be provided to this non-string. Okay, that's why the non-string always print none, its type. No memory location will be provided to non-string. Okay, that's the difference between blank or empty string and none. See, these double quotes define that this data type is of type string. Okay, and if I use suppose, then these empty brackets define that my list is of type list. Now none is not an string. This none printed here. Okay, so there is something. Okay, there is something known as standard output formatting. This none printed here, yes, it is a type of a string, but the none we are passing here, right? It is not a string none. We are passing the value stored in this none string. Okay, and this none is it is not a string. It defines that this particular variable doesn't access any memory right now. The type of this variable is not defined yet. Means the type of this variable is none, but this variable doesn't hold any memory location or access any memory location right now. Okay, see, suppose this is a, see, you use empty string, but the type of this variable will be a string of a string. Okay, you used a empty list, the type of this variable will be of list. Okay, but if you use a none, the type of this variable will be of type none. So that is the difference between none and empty. Empty is something which has assigned the memory assigned to that empty variable, but in none, no memory will be assigned. Okay, okay guys, let's conclude this session. We will see more about list and string variables in next session. We will also cover about tuples and loops and dictionary. So if you want to catch up for next session, I will suggest that you should practice what we have covered today, and you should learn something about known as hashing. Okay, just a theory part will be enough about hashing. What is known as hashing? Okay.
Okay, guys, that was all for today's session. Hope it was enlightening for you, and we will continue to provide you with these sessions. I hope you enjoyed and thanks you for your support. See you tomorrow for day 2 of Python development session. Thank you. Thank you very much.